Hey, welcome back to the next episode of the eCom Growth Show. I'm your host, Danan Coleman, and I've got Jana from YLT Translations, and we're going to go over translations. Obviously, we're going to go over why you want to localize the words that are being used and the concepts that are being communicated in listings, keyword strategies. And if we don't make it to all of this, that's totally fine, but this is kind of what's on the agenda. We're going to go into the differences of marketplaces, Amazon Japan, and search engine optimization, which I actually have a little bit of experience in myself from roughly 2 decades ago. So, Jana, welcome to the podcast. And would you please start off by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself?
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me. It's always great to be on new podcasts and to just start off fresh this new year. So yeah, I'm the owner and the founder of YLT Translations. We are the biggest Amazon dedicated agency that helps sellers expand internationally. I like to say that we translate their listings into sales. And we have our in-house team of experts that is now about 90 people, all
That's all,
Amazon
huh? Almost
trained.
100 people.
Yeah, it's been a
Dang.
crazy ride, really, and it's just been like really, really great for us all these years, up until AI last year. But we'll talk about it a little bit later. Just kidding. Like it's been like a really great start of the year. Really, we did not expect that. And apart from that, I have several brands. Are D2C brands. I do not sell on Amazon, but I know a lot about it. And I have just really like big general knowledge about e-commerce as I've been in the space for the last 15 years.
Cool. All right, awesome. Well, why don't we start off with the big elephant in the room here? Why do I need YLT translations as opposed to using AI to translate my listings? And for the people that are listening here, this is a loaded question. I already know the answer, but did not come from Jana. It came from my own experience. So, but Jana, please enlighten us on that.
Yeah, this is definitely number one question I've been getting all last year.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer is always going to be, I mean, at least for now, that AI has not developed enough to help sellers the way that we do. It sometimes is a better solution than Google Translate, but other times it can really do a lot of damage to your listings, especially when it comes to context, keyword research, all of that is just a mediocre translation that a lot of times doesn't make a lot of sense. And, I always, tell people just like try it out. Like, if you speak Spanish, if you speak another language, or if you have a German neighbor, just test it out. Just try a couple of sentences from like how to fix your washing machine to anything basically else that you can get. And you'll see that it's not really accurate. It's like when you go to a different country and then you try to like Google Translate the menu that you're getting, and then instead of a steak you get that this is a cow and stuff like that. Like this is this is what happens to everyone in real life, and this is basically how AI is right now when it comes to translation. I think they did not focus on making AI the best translator out there. I'm sure one day it will be good enough. I mean, as good as human translations, but for now, it really can do a lot of damage. And especially if you are looking to a specific voice of your brand, and if you want something translated, not literally, but like in a context, and just like give it that extra touch of something special, like, like giving it a German touch for your listings instead of a US salesly fluffy style. This is something that AI cannot fully do, and you will not be happy with the results because they would not convert. And especially now with Rufus and everything going on at Amazon, when they ask for more like a natural tone and like how would your customer write a listing and not that much like keyword stuffing, it's kind of really difficult to make an adequate prompt and feed it into ChatGPT, for instance, and expect to get amazing results. I think AI is much better at creating something out of nothing than translating the text that you give it as a source text.
Wow, well said. I wish I could put that into like just a short, but I'm going to have to probably put a full blown like 2-minute video out of that because did you rehearse that before we did this? Because that
Oh,
was like,
really? It's
That was
just like
spot
what I've
on.
been basically saying. Like it's kind of like I improved my answer over time,
Sure.
because I was asked like over and over again, and now I'm like quite happy with like what I can say about it.
It was damn good. It was
Yeah,
damn
thank
good.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you touched on something I personally feel too briefly, and that is context and culture, right? So cultural context. How does a German present a product as opposed to an American? Well, American is, like you said, super fluffy, like, and guess what? This is going to change your whole life because your life
Yeah,
sucks, but
exactly.
it won't be anymore after you buy this, right? And whereas German, and I don't know for sure, I would wager they're like, these are the facts, right?
Exactly. This is exactly like how big this difference is. I mean, just by reading, like just by, like imagine having someone translate your listing. It doesn't have to be AI. It can just be a translator that's really not great at their job. And just imagine if you translate the excitement in the voice and like, like this product will change your life and this is the best one you'll ever get and you won't need any others. Just translating that in the same tone and the same excitement to German, Germans will be like, what is
What
wrong
the
with this?
hell is
What the hell
this?
are you talking about? What this brand thinks it is. Like, I will be the judge of like if this will change my life. I don't
Uh-huh.
want anyone else to tell me this. They
Yes.
don't like that. They don't like to get overly excited about like a text, or they
Yeah.
don't want like this aggressive brand. I mean, in their eyes, it's like an aggressive brand, right? To tell them how they
Mm.
should live their life, or is this a life-changing experience that this product offers? They will be the judge of that. And it's pretty much like facts and like show me what this product does. How does it solve the problem? But very much like tone it down, right?
Hmm.
And it's like pretty much like a black and white, just like it has great features because it has this and these like fabrics, for instance, or it's going to be great in the kitchen because of this and that. So it has to be like filled with facts, and it has to be like it has to show how useful this product is in your life, but based off of facts, not based off of the excitement and like what I think as a brand will and how it will affect your life. So it's not, they're trying to be more objective than a subjective, as like in the States it is. And vice versa, like brands going to the US, they really have to change
Spice it up.
they have to change their approach like 180 degrees. Like it has to be completely different.
Yeah.
And this is something that really is non-translatable given to a regular translator or AI, or, just like you can fix the prompt a little bit so it does translate a little bit better. I'm gonna give you an example. We were actually doing there's like this pasta machine. It's a US brand, and they were having a problem with the A plus content, and they were basically not happy with how it was written. And then they were translating it to Italian, so they were giving a pasta machine
Boy.
to Italians. They thought it was a great market because of pasta, of course, and the whole culture. And then they were just saying that they're translating the pasta machine. And the part that was questionable was they were saying pasta like in Bella Italia. And then if you say Bella Italia to an American, it's clearly that
Oh,
it's like it's Italian pasta.
beautiful Italy.
It should be right. It should be like a homemade meal made by Italians, right? Like something that is really good. Something not that you get like in Olive Garden, for instance. It's like
Right.
true like Italian thing.
Right.
But then if you translate like in Bella Italia to Italian, what does that mean for Italians? Like in Bella Italia, like they're like, I don't get it. Like, what do you want to say with this? You can't use the same word and the same phrase to explain this to Italians. So I asked ChatGPT, like, hey, how would you like translate this so it does not literally translate this to Bella Italia, but so it translates a little bit more, so it's like in touch with the culture, with the new audience, with something that they would be able to relate to. So ChatGPT translated that as pasta made in a traditional way. This was the translation of AI. And I was like, okay, this was after I fixed my prompt 2-3 times. So this was like the final result. And I was like, okay, this is definitely not translated as Bella Italia.
Mm-hmm.
But the solution we came up with was try your pasta like your nonna, like your Italian grandma
Yeah.
used to make. This is what we came up with. So can you feel the difference? It's
Yeah.
about like that emotion, like evoking your childhood with your nona, which means like, you're
Yeah, with your
happy,
grandma.
you're eating like till you're
Yeah.
fully, stuffed with pasta, and it's amazing because it's your grandma. And all
Yeah.
Italian grandmas make
Yeah.
amazing food, right?
Yeah.
So this is how we decided that we're gonna go with. And this is something that people could feel. So if you want to translate, you need to capture the same emotion that it will evoke the first time that you read the source text. Like you would read this in English, how you would like read this to an Italian, it's quite two different things.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, I can definitely see that. So, as an American, what I would want to see is make pasta like they do in Italy. As an Italian, I'd want to see make pasta like your grandma,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense. Okay,
It's such a
cool.
big it's such a big difference like when you read it like this, but
Yeah,
actually it conveys the same message. And this is what brands should, pay attention to, because this is what's going to sell. Like the how you connect with the audience, and then how you kind of have to put yourself in their shoes, saying like, what do they think? Like, how do they define good food? Homemade cooked meal by your nonna. This has got to be like 100% amazing food, right?
yeah, yeah. Speaking of my grandmother, the only thing that I can remember she cooked was not cooked at all. It was just like canned beans with sour cream and just like the 7-layer bean pasta. I was like, stupid Americans and they're not being good at food.
Oh, well, you can't have it all. You have other amazing things.
No, that's true.
Food is not one of them. I have to agree.
Yeah, yeah. Although we do have a lot of good restaurants once you get into like the bigger cities. There are some
Yeah,
pretty tasty
absolutely. Absolutely.
because we pull from other cultures, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I was just talking about the American food in general, but absolutely love restaurants across the states. But probably one of the best meals I've had it probably over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have to say though, nothing beats a good cheeseburger if you ask me, but you know. Anyhow, we won't go into a food
Yeah.
fight here.
No, no, no.
So, all right. Now, if I had to guess, and I may be eating my words here in like 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months, but I don't see AI ever truly being able to like pull in the context of culture, because you can train it on data for sure, right? But there is the feeling, right? And what you just said that you did is you communicated the correct feeling,
Yes,
right, to the
exactly.
reader. To me, the correct feeling is I know that Italian pasta is magnifique, right?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe that's a French word, but we're going to
Yes,
roll with it.
it's fine.
But, you know, if you're in Italy, right, and you go make pasta like they do in Italy, like I'm in Italy, right? So it's got to be a different thing. And I just don't see how any computer could make that connection unless they built cultural documents to train it. But then, I mean, yeah,
You know what? I think that, there might be possible probably in, I don't know, like a decade or more, once the AI gets its own brain and starts thinking on its
but
own,
by
and,
then we'll all be dead. It won't matter.
it won't, cultural appropriation would not matter at that point, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah,
If they take over the world, doesn't really matter if you're Italian or German, you'll be able
no,
to understand their demands. So
that's
I'm
true.
pretty sure we're screwed up until
Yeah,
that
it's
point.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I also think that this is a nuance that they cannot grasp. Like this is something that is like, if 90% translation is great, I think those 10% is something that is unachievable for AIs and machines in general. Like, if there's like one bit of a human thing or human touch that makes a difference, then I think the cultural aspect would be it.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. And that's probably that point that pushes it over the edge to a
Yeah.
sale, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and as I said, like, especially with Rufus and everything, and especially like January 21st is going to be pretty much of a game changer when it comes to Amazon titles and everything, because Amazon has been pushing a more natural language in the title, where everyone used to just like keyword
Keyword
stuff
stuff.
and all of that. Yeah, and just like basically forcing more of a natural language and something that sounds natural to the target buyer. And this is also where localization comes in hand, because it is is something that the buyer loves to read. And usually, like an average shopper has like 7 tabs open. And this might be something that will make them buy your product over tons of other products that they don't really resonate with because they're just machine translation or something that is pretty much like a mediocre content. So
At
I think
best.
that, at best, yeah. And I think that shoppers will be more and more spoiled because they would see that there are actually brands that are making an effort to connect with them and to speak their language, actually.
Yeah. All right. So that brings us into another subject that was the last one I mentioned. But speaking of title and keyword stuffing, let's talk about search engine optimization. Let's see. I think we're getting reduced now, and I know it's category specific, but we're being reduced down to 250 characters, if I remember correctly.
It's 200 for the
200
title.
characters. Okay. Yeah.
If we're
so
talking about
200
Amazon, then it's title, 200 characters. No special characters,
That's right.
no commas, no nothing. Literally, I
Yeah.
think you can only leave the dash. And
If it's a hyphen
if it's
between
a hyphen,
words,
yeah,
because it's
that
part of your
yeah.
brand name or something
Everything
like that.
else is just really not. And I had like a brand reach out to me today, like they were wondering and kind of a little bit in panic mode because they have like that, what's it called, like the
At symbol.
ad symbol after their trademark name, and they should also get rid of that because it is it is an extra symbol. It does not read well with the algorithm, and then a lot of brands will have to fight this because it's part of their name, which now Amazon does not allow the special characters, and they don't care if this is like the ad that comes with your trademark or not.
Yeah.
So it potentially this is going to be a big work on all of these titles.
So there's the copyright symbol, which is the C in the circle, and then there's the TM, the trademark. And as a matter of fact, I have a client who has that in their listing because that's part of their logo.
I know, but like when Amazon reads it, like when the algorithm reads it, they're not going to read it as a part of the name.
Yeah.
Because it's a symbol which is not connected to a letter, so it does not create anything like on a picture, like, oh, it's a picture with a TM sign. But here, like a TM and the copyright, they are just symbols and they're right next to the brand name. So they would be, they would be recognized as a special symbol, which is not allowed by the newest Amazon rules.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I mean, it's crazy. Okay, here, I'm just going to share my screen real quick. No, you know what? Better that I don't, but they've got the registered symbol in their name in their storefront.
I would go to Amazon and I would ask about that. Like I would reach out and I would ask whether they are safe, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just do that. And if they don't allow it in the title, then I would definitely just use it in bullets, pictures, A+, everywhere else except in the title. If they do not allow this trademark sign.
Yep. And you know what? Now that I look at all their titles, it's not there now. But it was.
See?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I'm sure that they know about the change in the rules. So
yeah. For sure. Okay, cool. Well, getting back into the SEO stuff, keyword stuffing, not really allowed anymore. One of the things that I find, unfortunate is that, Google has been trying to get to produce search engine results based on the language that is meant for the reader, right? But there are still ways to game that algorithm, and I think it'll always be that way. What are your thoughts on moving over to Amazon here? What are your thoughts about how are we going to optimize for this stuff? Like, we've got keywords. Yes, we know we can put that in there, comma separated, blah blah blah. We're not going to be keyword stuffing titles anymore, but your main keywords will likely be in there. What have we got coming? What are we going to be doing to make sure that we can get higher up in the search engine results, in Amazon search results pages?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I would say that first of all, because you need to follow the guidelines, I would just like a title. I think it's gonna kill the creativity, definitely, the way we know it. Something new is gonna, probably come up. But I think that the title should be just like a regular sentence. For instance, if you're selling a women's messenger bag, you can just write women's for travel, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
But then, because there is this theory, I mean, unfortunately, like a lot when it comes to SEO, a lot of things are just theory and nobody has ever proven anything. But this is like how people usually do things, right? So I've seen and read so many things and I haven't seen a lot of proof. But what I know and what also we've been doing is that, like when you have the keyword like the bag and then travel and then the women, that it connects one with another and then it actually results in a keyword. When someone searches for a women travel bag, it will show the product even if it's not women travel bag like in the same order, like in that title, that it will connect one with another third, so it will form 3-4 different keywords even though you have one. So what I would do is like I would check my search results, and then if you have the search results saying travel bag, women bag, messenger bag, whatever is like repeating, I would just form a sentence out of these, let's say, broad keywords that that they form a niche keyword. So then it would go from one to another to third to fourth, and this way you can get like 4 keywords, and you actually used women's messenger bag, like just one in the title. So this is what I've seen some of these things actually, work in the past, that you kind of connect the words. They're really, close to each other, and then they get ranked for a specific keywords. So I would do that. I would write a regular sentence, like a naturally sound sentence, but I would make it out of all of the words that are actually a niche keyword that are relevant. Yeah. That could be 5 broader search terms that actually form something which is more niche and something which describes your product. So that would be my strategy.
Got it. Okay, cool. And so you think keeping a more natural, as Amazon wants, but a more natural title, and then you utilize the other areas for the more niche stuff.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay, cool.
Because also, like, your first bullet is really strong, like for indexing, so you can do whatever, like in the first bullet. Also, the images, like it is now said that Rufus will also read the images. So whatever you write on these pictures is going to be very, very relevant. Also, how you show your product, what your product does on this picture is going to be also very important. And also, like, important thing is, like, for instance, if you sell a passport cover, for instance, and you have someone holding that passport cover, you should try that, like, let's say fingers or the hand does not cover too much of that passport cover, because the AI would not understand fully that this is actually your product. So make those products stand out and be very, very visible, and have lifestyle images where, AI can understand what they are for, what they're, what's it like to hold them.
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of AI tools that will help you create a better picture, because you can upload the picture and then ask AI, what do you see on this picture? And then if I see a man and holding a bag, then it means that there's no passport cover, for instance. That means that you haven't emphasized on the passport cover enough.
Yeah.
So Rufus is AI, so are these all other tools. They work more or less the same way. So if one AI or 2 or 3 reads the picture in the same way, then this is also how Rufus is going to read it as well.
Yeah. So, and I believe it's been somewhat recently confirmed that Rufus is reading the text on images. I can't remember exactly who it was. It may have been, it might have been Danny McMillan.
Yeah, Danny and Juana, they had like this blueprint of Rufus. It's pretty good stuff. And one of the things they said is about the pictures and natural language, and just paying attention to a lot of different things. I mean, I really hope that. I mean, I know it's gonna be tough, like, persuading sellers to change their strategies and all of that. But I just really think that a lot of sellers should listen to what they have to say, because I think that they're absolutely right. And if you read any other reports or case studies, anything, it's more or less the same thing. So I think that, brands should generally change the way how they were, doing content, optimization, pictures, everything.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you read that because I saw that report came out, but I haven't read it.
I haven't read it either. It's 8,000 words. My
Nice.
attention span is this big, but
Yes.
I've spent some time with Danny. We did a conference together back in September, and then he told me what he was working on, and we had like a really long talk about it. So basically, I know what it is
Got
about,
it.
and
Cool.
yeah, so it's good stuff, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm gonna make some back it up just a little bit. You were talking about making sure that your lifestyle images and stuff like that, where your product really actually displays what it is. So I was talking about this on my weekly news, Amazon news with my buddy Todd. It was his, but I'm on it almost every week. And there are lifestyle images and even just general images out there where the product blends in with the background so much that the AI would never be able to read that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And that's what you just said. But I think that it's going to be critical that you actually have that stuff properly done and or redone. Right. So let's say you sell a candle, right? That's easy until you get an entire room with a couch and a chair and a table, and you're showing this tiny little candle.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
there,
yeah, exactly.
Right? And the AI goes, "Cool, you're a IKEA? I don't know."
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And
But
so
this is also very interesting that you mentioned. I just want to, as we're talking about like SEO in general, and I'm really sad that people from the Amazon industry, they don't know a lot about how Google operates and how it all works like on Google.
yeah,
Because
and they totally should.
yeah, I mean, they really have no idea about the true meaning of SEO and why we do like the Amazon the way we do it, because PPC, Amazon SEO, everything. It's just like a fragment of what you actually do on Google. So it's pretty much like a simple version of what's happening over at Google. Because what's really interesting, like how AI connects the dots, this is actually how Google has always connected the dots.
I know.
About who you are and what your brand is. And then if you check like a lot of people's page that about me section or like about the brand, they all have these irrelevant information. They don't understand actually that Google uses all these information from the database that you feed them into to connect the dots and understand if you're authority or if you're not authority.
Yeah.
And
wait,
people
hold
don't
on,
seem to remember
Jana.
this.
Let's define authority real quick, because I think people may think that like an important person on a subject, but domain authority, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
is what we're talking about.
No, I was talking about domain authority, not about people being very important and have the authority. No, it's about, like building authority and trust. And this is how you build authority and trust of your domains on Google. Yeah.
Yeah. So what she's talking about, like for all you listeners out there, it's called the World Wide Web because it's literally a web, like a spider's web of data. It's all connected. So if you think of it that way, whereas your Amazon listing, all the data needs to flow, be connected, be relevant to each other, right? But Jana's talking about Google. So if you're building a website, for instance, and this is something I used to do, almost 2 decades ago now, is I did local SEO for small businesses. And there wasn't a single business that I wasn't able to get onto the first page of Google, usually in the top one first listing for their toughest keyword, because I went out and at this time I had 57, something like that, different data points, different websites that I knew Google referenced for company data. And so I would create an account for my client on all 50 of those sites and make sure that the hours, the website, the people, the keywords, everything was synonymous across every other website. And then when Google went to reference those sites, sent out their bots to crawl, they're literally called spiders, right? To crawl the sites, then it all matched up. Therefore, Google algorithmically said, this has got so much more authority on the subject of pizza than anybody else in this entire region where this person is searching for pizza, right? And so boom.
But it still works the same way. So it's expertise, authority, and trust, what is important for your domain. Because this is actually how you build your knowledge panel, which is, can say about you or about your company. So someone is like Googling your company, maybe like they find you on Amazon saying, oh, okay, like I don't know who these guys are, let me Google it. And then if you come up in Google with a Google knowledge panel saying this company has been established by, they has like this little like a little square with like this important information, like your freaking Bill Gates and Microsoft, people will be like, wow, look at these guys. And maybe they will buy your product off of Amazon because they're like some
Trustworthy.
high quality important, yeah, like supplement or whatever other categories that like really need this authority and expertise. So it's like a really cool thing, but that kind of really reminded me of how the AI will like connect the dots of who you are, because Google connects the dots from different sites, social media, your own website, and it connects different dots and puts them all together. And they're like, oh, okay, so this is the guy you should talk to. Like, you should go to Danan for this and that. Like it's like really, it connects the dots. So it's absolutely clear to Google what you do and who you are and why you're relevant. And this is the same way how AI works, just like it's a different technology, but basically it's all the same because it gets the information from the picture, from the content, from the title. It puts them all together saying, oh, okay, I get it. This guy sells candles of very high quality wax that it's imported from Germany. Like, wow, this is amazing. I should buy from him, right? But if this is not crystal clear to AI as a tool, he will be confused and he will not recommend your product to anyone. So this is like really, really important. Whatever you do, be 100% precise about what you're selling and what your brand is.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah. So, and this all ties back to what we were originally talking about, which is the images, right? So Rufus, or Amazon's AI, will be referencing those images. So if you're selling, let's take the candle example. If you're selling a candle and you've got 8 lifestyle images with a candle super small in the background, like there's a candle on a boat and there's a candle on a table and there's a candle outside, it's going to go, well, that's, if it's super small in the background and there's lots of furniture in there, it's going to go, well, this is a listing about furniture, indoor, outdoor furniture, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So and the other thing you said is that Google's been doing stuff like this for a long time, and nobody at Amazon knows Google. So Amazon, I can't even tell you how many times, has stumbled upon what Google did 5 years ago or more before they implement it generally for all of us, right?
Yeah.
And with that said, you can technically figure out what's going on with Google today, and Amazon's going to make it there.
Absolutely. Yes.
So
I can agree.
Yeah.
That's a really great analogy. And I'm sure people don't even know about this or even think that is possible. I just think that because Amazon has grown so much now, it's like #1 platform, like a shopping platform in the world. I just think that, like people think that this is what Amazon comes up with. Like this is their own thing, like this is their own strategy, when it's been there for such a long time, just like in a different form, but it's the same strategy, like, in place, like connecting the dots and understanding. The artificial intelligence will understand what you do or will not understand what you do if you're not precise enough and if you do not show the expertise in what you do or what you sell. And I think this is what sellers should focus more on. It's going to be more challenging for sure, because you can't just copy paste content or just rewrite something that you found online, and it's going to be much more work, but the final product, I think it's going to be so much better, and I think that people were definitely going to love it. I think it's more likely that people absolutely go crazy about your brand than they just like gonna buy one thing and just like, yeah, whatever, because you will have to put a lot of more effort in it. But I definitely think it's gonna, get better results for you as well.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you, Jana. So let's go into the differences between marketplaces. How about that?
Yeah. Well, talking about Amazon and the rest of the world, like talking about Amazon marketplaces, basically, of course, like if you want to sell in Europe, it's always a great idea because Europe is like lightning years away from what's happening in the US when it comes to, let's say, the special characters and the title. Like, we don't know if this is going to affect Europe or not, you know? So you might be able to get away with this for a couple more months, a couple more years. I mean, there are still things that haven't been banned in Europe that are completely illegal to do against TOS now in the States. So this is like one. So if you want to like maybe expand to Europe and get away with a lot of things and have less competitors, depending on like what the category is, then this is definitely really amazing.
Now, let's reverse that a little bit. If you're selling in Europe and you want to know what's going to happen, look at America.
Exactly. You just stay where you are, stay in
Yeah.
your lane.
Yeah, don't try to bring your tactics from there to here because it may just get you suspended.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a dangerous world out there, and
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to be really careful. It's a different kind of beast, is what people love to say. But definitely there's like a lot of other things you can do. And if you're in Europe, of course, there are other marketplaces other than Amazon. You have Allegro, for instance, in Poland. And Poland is a really interesting country because Poland has 18,000 online stores, and Allegro is top 10 marketplaces in the world, right after Shopee and Tmall, and those are huge. Those
Whoa.
are Chinese marketplaces, and then Allegro. And then when it comes to D2C, let's say like if you sell even like Allegro, which is a marketplace, or if you want to do D2C, Poland is absolutely insane. Like Amazon is not doing that well. Like from our clients, what are they doing? Like it's not amazing or worth the story really, but everything else going on in Poland is incredible. So if you haven't tested Poland yet, if you have a Shopify website, I would start selling there, like test out the waters, and I'm sure you will be very, very surprised how well the sales are going. That and Czech Republic really like this is like a top secret advice.
Okay.
So Poland and Czech, like when it comes to other marketplaces and when it comes to D2C, as I said, I would not recommend people like selling on Amazon, like in Sweden and Poland. None of our clients, and we've been around for 6 years. I think we've worked with a couple of thousands of sellers, maybe even more than that. And we haven't had any results with any of them. And we've worked with every single category there is out there. But when it comes to selling off Amazon, now these countries might be really, really good for you, as also what talking about from the experience we've had with D2C brands.
Now, I
Yeah.
know you told me not to ask you about this, but logistics wise, do you have any thoughts on that? Even
Well,
though you specifically asked me not to ask
not
you
to ask
about that.
about that. Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you for not asking me about it. Can
Yeah.
I choose not to answer? I should just
Sure, you can choose not
no,
to
I'm just
answer.
kidding. No, but I mean, when it comes to Amazon, like it's FBA, right? So you have all of
Yeah.
the, like the
But
warehouses and everything is pretty
but you've
much.
got you're talking about Shopify, right?
Yes, but
So,
talking about Shopify, it's also very easy to pick a warehouse,
okay.
And if you want to listen to me, if you have a store in Europe, let's say in Germany, if you want to have a cheaper warehouse, you should go to Poland, and there's like this little city called Szczecin. It literally lies on the border with Germany, and this is the most centralized position you will have for all of the Europe, minus North Europe.
And you said you didn't know anything about this. What that is pure golden glorious information.
Well, I do a little bit, but I'm
Okay.
not gonna brag
Yeah,
about
see,
anything
this
else.
is why I asked the question. Dang it. All right, please continue.
So this is like the most centralized place for whole Europe, and from that warehouse, the goods or products or anything that you're selling will reach its destination within 2 days, wherever in Europe you are.
Wow.
Which is fantastic. We don't have drones yet, but I can just imagine what's going to happen with their drones. But this is a really good tip for anyone who wants to sell in Europe off Amazon, just like being in e-commerce. That's a really good choice. And of course, it's cheaper than having a warehouse in Germany because it's Poland. And the only, like, I would say the bottleneck could be that in Poland, they usually do not use credit cards a lot. So it should be like cash on delivery. That is the only little But I mean, it still works
Wow.
fine. We've had a lot of brands that expanded from the US and Europe, decided to go to Poland, and they're collecting their money without any problem. It's just like that is the way how they do business over there. Completely legal and everything, of course, but it's just that people don't use a lot their credit cards. And I understand that a lot of brands are afraid to go there because of that. But let me assure you that it's not that scary or it's not shady business. It's really, really good.
So they order something, they get it in the mail, then they pay for it. Is
Yeah,
that what you're
exactly.
saying?
Cash on delivery.
Just
C
like the old days in
COD.
America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like America, like 40 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. That is awesome. And so let's talk about
Tax.
taxes. I hear in Poland they are very tax friendly. Don't answer that. We're moving on to the next subject here. Okay, cool. So how about well, I guess we could continue down the differences in marketplaces, or have we covered it?
I just also want to mention Japan, and
Yeah.
especially Amazon Japan, since this is like, Amazon Japan has been like this like big scary wolf, right? And then everybody's just like, I've heard great things, but how do we get there? There's a different alphabet, like, again, it's also FBA. And then also what is really cool is that if you have like these weird products or something that you use for UV protection or teas or anything that's like cosmetics, it might potentially do well in Japan. We also have like this little report that we do to help sellers understand if their product is going to be a hit or a miss in a new country,
Mm.
and if they should go with it or
Okay,
not.
let's do a little sideline and let's talk about this. So you just said that you help people find out if their product is going to be a hit or a miss in a
I
country.
mean, we show the opportunity, if there is an opportunity for it or not. It's a report called Amor, like the little guy, shooting arrows with hearts.
Uh-huh.
And Amor stands for Amazon Marketplace Opportunity Report. It's an acronym for it. So we just like dwell a little bit in like, is this going to be good or not? We don't cover all aspects. We cover, if your competitors are making sales at profit. Because when you compare countries and marketplaces, you want to compare the profit, not the revenue that
Yes.
your competitor is doing. What a lot of people get like, distracted by shiny objects, saying like, wow, this guy's making 10 figures, and then maybe less profit than what you're making in home marketplace, so it doesn't actually make it worthwhile. We covered that. We covered like content. How likely are you to beat them on the content level when it comes to rankings, keywords, and this and that? And then we also ask the local audience, would they buy the product? Because this is super important. We had some brands that really did not make any sales. They had everything in place, like content, PPC, pictures, absolutely everything. But the audience just hated it. So we decided that this is something which is really valuable to be put in our report. It's not like all that combined together. We just kind of come up with the opportunity score and saying, like, we think that you should do this in order to be better than competitors. This is your potential earning. That the sales might be this big. And then you can decide whether you want to do that or not, which actually saves you a lot of money, because if you decide to go there and fail, it's going to cost you way more than our report. So yeah, we kind of help them decide if they want to go there or not. And a lot of people get really excited about it. And then sometimes if you have like a very niche product and it's a smaller marketplace, the numbers are not going to be as big as you have in the States. And a lot of brands are like, well, it's only like 500 sales a month. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to Italy. This is like, probably a good sale for you, and it's a good sale.
That's
And then
good.
it's 500, and it's a niche product, so you kind of have to be like more realistic and understand that you're not going to see like probably hundreds and thousands of sales every month, depending on the marketplace. But there are brands that were not going to make it big. And then did we just say like, what? Based off of like the cost and everything, I don't think you should do this product. And then they're happy, and then they're just like, okay, we're gonna come back with another bestseller and check out if that is going to be potentially a good product or not. So there are ways how you can see if you're gonna make it or not. Japan, if you have a product for Japan, that can be insane, because the competitors are not there, and PPC clicks are insanely cheap, and it's really, really a good market if you have the right product. And then of course, like, you can do your own little research research. Like you can go to Facebook expat groups and just ask them like, hey, so would you buy this product? What do you think? Any feedback is good feedback. So, there are just like a lot of things how you can test the waters, but just a lot of brands really never do that due diligence, which is absolutely mandatory. That is a number one mistake to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a podcast with Gary Huang.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah.
he calls it Japanification.
Japanification, I love
Yeah,
it.
Japanification. So like he showed me the difference between the top selling yoga mat in America, which had like 40,000 reviews, and the top selling yoga mat in Japan, which had like 1,800 or something like that. And that was like borderline all I needed to see, right? It's like, oh my gosh, okay, maybe the volume's not there, not like America, but it's, if I remember correctly, it's the third biggest marketplace in Amazon. It's US, UK, EU.
No. It's
Germany.
Yeah, US, Germany, and then Japan.
US, Germany, Japan. Yeah, that's right. And then UK, EU after that. So, which is in fourth. So that was eye-opening to me because, anyhow. So let's take another product that we were discussing.
Do you know, just one quick question for you? Do you know why Germany is the second biggest marketplace?
9.
Germany's not that big of a country.
9.
Who made? So Germany, actually, when you buy, like people buy from Amazon Germany if they don't have their own Amazon in their own country. So for instance, like Lithuania, like bunch of countries that don't have their own Amazon are redirected to buy from Amazon Germany. So you have access to way more than only Germans, which is great. Basically half of Europe.
Okay, so, well, that's really interesting. Then are they translating that German listing into their own language, or do they all read German?
No, I think, if you use Google Chrome, it would ask you, hey, would you like to translate this as a default, but as a browser thing?
Yeah.
No. They just read it, I think, English, or they just translate the page to Lithuanian, for instance. But I think if you buy on Amazon, I think you just buy it in English or German.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. And I've sold in the German market pre-Brexit, but
yeah,
when I could have all my inventory in the UK and just send it one place, I sold in Amazon Germany. And actually, the sales there were, I think that my DE sales were even greater than my UK sales. Yeah,
this is always the case. I mean, rarely. I mean, if you are a UK-based brand and this is your home market, then yes, you might have bigger sales than Germany. We actually have some brands that are doing 8-9 figures in the UK and they're not doing that much in Germany. But usually if you want to expand, Germany is probably going to be your strongest marketplace out of all Europe. And I always advise just go to Germany, go to UK, and then check out France or Spain if the numbers make sense. And that's it. I would say the big four always works and still working very good.
Okay. And a little bit more on that for the listeners. If you decide to do that, you cannot just get one VAT number in the UK any longer, unfortunately.
It's sort of a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. So I usually refer people over to Avask.
Yeah. Same. They've been our partners forever. Yeah.
Perfect. I love Mel.
Yeah.
And her husband too. He's super awesome.
Same. Angelos and Mel, I just love great people.
Yeah. They're lovely. And Mel swears she's going to take my children at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I
think it's a thing because she calls him Prince Philip.
Yes.
So yeah, I think she loves something.
She loves babies. Yeah, she's so awesome. All right, cool. Well, let's see here. I think there was one other thing I wanted to mention, and I don't recall what it is. I think we've pretty much covered the whole list.
Yeah, I think we delivered even more than what it was on that list. So that's
true. Yeah.
It's great.
Well, cool. So, Jana, obviously after this, or hopefully after this, every Amazon seller that's ever listened to this podcast, which is my mom's not an Amazon seller, but so you're not going to I'm sorry, you're not going to get anybody contacting you from this. She's my only listener and subscriber, but
we'll make her sell on Amazon.
I've tried. She's not having it.
Maybe she hasn't listened to this podcast.
That's what it is. She'll
Maybe after
definitely
this
listen to it.
episode, she
Yeah.
changes her mind.
Thanks, Mom. Love you. See you in the ecom meetings. So
Come to prosper.
yeah, no, she can't hang with us. So how do people get a hold of you, Jana?
So I always tell people to follow me on LinkedIn because I have amazing posts, right? So I have a post about international expansion, bunch of things that are really cool, like, up to date, giving bunch of useful tips and just making your life easier on Amazon and e-commerce in general and AI as well. So be sure to follow me on LinkedIn, and then also if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to hop on a call, just like advise you about anything. And of course our website, YLT-translations.com, where you can fill out a form. We offer a free audit of your already translated listings. We can check out your listings, tell you if they're doing good. If they're not doing good, we tell you how you can make them better, or we can make them better.
Yeah, I think that's probably the single most important thing that you could offer someone that's looking to expand is
absolutely.
Should you? Yeah. You can within a very close margin of error answer that question.
Yeah. So, and also if you would like to get your copy of the report, it's a manual report. It's not an auto report, so it's manually made for sellers per product. If you were wondering whether you should expand, definitely reach out to us and we'll be happy to customize the report we've done for a bunch of sellers. Really good and useful data. It will save you tons of money and time.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jana, for being on the podcast. This was really, really enlightening, even for me. And
I'm very happy to hear that.
Yes, well, I'm happy. I love learning stuff like this because, it translates into being able to help others. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks once again. And for those of you that are listening still, thank you for being here. Mom, thanks.
Yay, Mom.
She doesn't actually listen to my podcast. I don't even know if she knows I do one. All right, we're going to end it off right here. See you later, everybody.
See ya. Take care. Bye.
Bye.